Russia should have collapsed. That's what the world expected when the West hit Moscow with over 500 sanctions after it invaded Ukraine. A war that was meant to last weeks has now dragged on for 3 years. And yet, Russia's economy is not just surviving, but thriving. But how? The real story isn't just about the battlefield. It's about money, oil, and global power shifts. So, how did Russia dodge economic collapse? The answer lies far from Moscow, in Beijing and New Delhi. While the US and Europe turned their backs, China and India stepped in as financial lifelines, ensuring that Russia never ran out of cash to fund its war. Despite facing the harshest Western sanctions in modern history, Russia's GDP grew by 3.6% in 2023 and 24, according to the International Monetary Fund. And here's an even bigger shock. Russia's GDP, based on purchasing power parity, surged from $5.73 trillion in 2021 to $6.91 trillion in 2024. This was not supposed to happen. The West believed that cutting off trade with Russia, especially energy trade, would sink its economy. But Putin had a backup plan. The key to Russia's survival? Oil. Russia's biggest asset isn't its nuclear weapons or military strength. It's crude oil. And when the West stopped buying, China and India stepped in. In 2023 alone, China bought $129 billion worth of Russian goods, making up 32.7% of Russia's total exports. India followed with $66 billion, accounting for 16.8% of Russian exports. Together, China and India made up 50% of Russia's total exports, a staggering increase from just 16% in 2021. For China, buying Russian oil was nothing new. But for India, this was a massive shift in strategy. Back in 2013, crude petroleum made up just 1.8% India's total imports from Russia. In 2021, that number was only 12%. By 2024, 74% of India's total imports from Russia were crude petroleum. With Western countries refusing to buy Russian crude, Moscow started offering massive discounts. India, the world's third largest oil importer, jumped at the chance, saving billions while keeping its economy stable. For India, this was a win-win. But for Russia, this was more than just trade. It was economic survival. Now with Donald Trump trying to broker peace by leveraging a minerals deal with Ukraine, the war will pause sooner or later. But the economic battle will continue. With China and India firmly in its corner, Moscow has rebuilt its economy, shifted away from Western dependence, and strengthened ties with the global South. Sanctions haven't crushed Russia, they've reshaped it. A ceasefire may end the fighting, but it will also mark the beginning of a whole new world order. And that's a reality the West might not be ready for. Bureau Report, India Today Global.